Hey, Paul Wickey with Wicked Barbecue coming at you with another barbecue recipe. It's been a while since I posted, so let's get right to it. And the subject is brisket. Brisket, that's a touchy subject with a lot of barbecuers out there, and I like to do mine sometimes a little different. So I'll show you step by step how I do it, and I'm not always concerned about the bark. I'm super concerned about the flavor and the tenderness of the brisket. Doing something really different though this time, okay? Chimichuri. I love chimichuri. I'm using that as a binder, and I usually use salt and pepper on my brisket, but I'm going to use Pit Boss's Lone Star brisket. We'll give that a whirl. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this thing up, and as you can see it needs trimmed, but I'm going to trim it up like extreme, okay? So you'll see me cut off some of the brisket. It will not go to waste. It will be going into a grinder, and I'll use it to make brisket burgers. Absolutely delicious. All right, let's get started on the trim. As you can see, there is a lot to trim off of this thing. And you know, the saying goes, leave a 1/4 inch of fat. Well, we'll have to see how that goes, because and some of this fat will not render down, but I will keep some of it and render it down in the smoker. So let's get to carving up, and I'll get back with you when I'm done. Take your time when doing this. Make sure you leave like at least a 1/4 inch, like I said before, thickness of fat on there. Yeah, there's a lot to come off, and keep what you can, because you want to render that down and use it as tallow, which is awesome. All right, we're getting it trimmed down, and try to get some of that silver skin off. If you get a little meat, not going to kill you, so you got plenty of meat here, but try to want to get off as much as you can. I don't go really crazy with the silver skin, because to me it breaks down pretty good. I've never really had an issue with it, but take off as much or as little as you want. This right here, that's solid fat. It ain't going to render down much, and some people carve that all the way out. I'm not going to do that. I am, however, going to square this thing up a little bit, round it up, and use, again, it's not going to get wasted. I'm going to use this meat that I'm cutting off as brisket burgers. So don't panic, people. Don't panic. I'm not wasting it. A lot of people saw me do this before and they said I wasted it. Well, it's not wasting it if you use it. Anyway, so now I'm going to round. See, it's pretty thin here, thicker here, so I'm going to take this and start rounding it off. Get a little thicker there. Don't worry, I'm not wasting it. I'm going to use this. Be a nice cut of brisket. All right, I'm going to continue trimming this up, and I'll get back with you when I'm all done. All right, there you have it. It's a nice looking chunk of brisket there. It looks a lot better than what it did, right? And no wasted meat, I promise you. That meat that's in here is going to be ground up into brisket burgers. Now, time to season this thing up, and like I said, I'm going to use a chimichurri as a binder. It's going to add flavor, and then the Pit Boss Lone Brisket Rub. So let's do that. Okay, like I said, chimichurri as a binder, and I'm going to leave this in the fridge overnight, by the way. So, all right, let's start doing this chimichurri, and don't touch the spoon on the meat, because if you don't use all the chimichurri, then it'll be contaminated. Oh my. I know you guys are thinking I'm crazy, right? Well, just wait till this is done and talk to me later, okay? So what I'll do is I'll cover that real good on the sides, and then, oh yeah, time for the Pit Boss. Now you want to season it and season it well, so don't be shy. Here's a song called Don't Be Shy, an old 50s song, right? Don't be shy. Anyway, I don't know if that's how it goes. And I know some people even say you're supposed to season it a certain side first. I don't get it, so I don't care. I'm just going to season it. And it's a little messy, but hey, if it ain't messy, you ain't doing it right. Time to flip that over, and I am going to put it in the fridge with that side up, by the way, the top side up. And I'll throw a little more seasoning on, of course. So, okay, basically do the same thing on this side, that chimichurri sauce, and then season it real good with that same rub. And this is what it should look like when you're done. Check it out, well seasoned. And this chimichurri sauce, I promise you, it adds flavor and some heat. You'll love it. Smoking this on the Pit Boss Titan, and right now I'm adding some apple blend. And what's nice about this thing, you can put 2 different types of pellets in the hopper. And this side is the whiskey barrel blend. Okay, the sun is starting to go down, and I'm getting ready to fire up the Titan here. And I love how this thing turns on. Isn't that cool? All right, so that's getting ready here. I will turn it on smoke mode here, hit start. P setting, and put it on smoke mode all night long. All right, let's do it. Okay, we are up to temp. I'm getting ready to put the brisket in. You can see I put a water pan under my brisket. That's what I usually do for when I do briskets. So we're going to do this all night long. Look at that baby. I'm going to put the thicker side where the heat is a little hotter, but it ain't really going to matter with the water pan under there. So now it's time to probe it up. On the flat side, or the point side. There we go. Closing it up, and we'll say good morning tomorrow to this thing. Okay, the sun is coming up. I turned this thing up to 250 just a little bit ago on PID mode to keep that temperature pretty steady. Let's take a look. I haven't looked at it yet. That thing is looking beautiful. Woo! All right, before I close her back up, I'll give her a good spritz. I'm actually thinking about not wrapping this thing. I've never done a no wrap, so maybe I'll experiment and you guys can see the results with me. Okay, I'm gonna open this up. Looky, looky. Now, I've been spritzing, but we're getting close down to crunch time, so the tallow that I rendered off of the fat, I'm actually putting on top of the brisket. That'll melt real nice all over the brisket, give it a nice glaze and some moisture. Okay, the brisket is resting. Before I show you how it came out, which I'm a little nervous because I went a little longer uncovered, and I tried to go uncovered the whole time, but I was pressing for time. So I ended up pulling it at around 180, 185. I put it in an aluminum pan with that juice that I had out there in the smoker with a grate inside, so it kind of lifts it up out of the juice. Covered it with foil, put a probe in it, of course, pulled it out at around the 202, 203 mark. So I'm letting it rest, but that's what I typically do with the brisket, is I will smoke it to the 165 mark, put it in a foil pan that I have water underneath of that brisket, and I use that to put it in the foil pan and then wrap it with foil on top, put it in the oven at 250, anywhere from 250 to 275, depending on how big of a hurry I'm in. And saves you on pellets. It's not going to gain any smoke anymore anyway. I like tender and flavor more than the bark. So just depends on how you like it, but every time I do it this way, it comes out really good. Now again, I'm kind of anxious to see what happens here because I didn't wrap it as quick as I normally do. So give it a few more, maybe another 45 minutes to rest, and I'll cut into it. Alrighty, moment of truth here. Oh, wow, that went in pretty darn easy. Yeah, that's pretty good brisket, but looks good. We'll have to see how it tastes. A little jiggly there, I like that. Yeah, soon enough. I mean, that's it's pretty fall apart. So yeah, I think that came out pretty good. Tender.